beyond all reason. Please just let it go. Let it go, Victor. It is impossible for you to win this war. Watch me.
You gave him everything he wanted, and betrayed your own daughter to do it. So where is he, Mom, huh? Where's Reg? Reg!
Moving speech, really. Almost Shakespearean, wasn't it?
All right, we are live. Hey, you guys, welcome back. How are you all? We on a Friday night again.
Hi, so busy. You're like 24 in the chat room already. My goodness.
Yeah, that was before the notification went out.
Jeez, they were excited to talk about Casper.
Casper. Girl, who you calling Casper?
Errol Dumas,
Oh.
a.k.a. Kane Ashby.
Yeah,
He
girl, we're going to
decided to
talk
come out
about
of
that.
sight.
Girl, that is so crazy. Oh, man. And I mean, honestly, majority of the week was leading up to Aristotle do Kane Ashby. Yep.
The wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Right. All right, you guys, welcome back to Soap Corner Talk, where Bree and I will be recapping The Young and the Restless, The Bold and the Beautiful, and Beyond the Gates for the week of June 16th through June 20th. Happy past week's Father's Day to all the hubbies and fathers. Some of them may be in the chat. Some of you guys have some hubbies and some dads in your lives. So I guess I could say happy belated Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth that happened yesterday. So we're sending a shout out for that. And then tomorrow's the first day of summer. So it's going to be probably getting dark almost around here, probably about 9:30 or 9:45 at night. So we have officially gotten to, everything
The
is
heat of things.
right. The heat of things. Yep, the longest day of the year. You might as well do the most, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Thank you,
man.
Mira.
Oh yeah, there's a super chat. So, Mari, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, hi, everyone and ladies. Happy Friday and have a great weekend. I'm back in California from vacation. I miss you guys. Hope all is well. I'm glad you're back and hopefully you had fun on your vacay.
Yes, so she went to Las Vegas, I remember, for her birthday.
Oh,
I hope you
okay.
had some fun, and leave that stuff in Vegas.
Yeah, what happened in Vegas stays in Vegas. Actually, my son's 25th, we're planning to take him to Vegas for his 25th birthday, which is in October.
Nice.
So hopefully the weather will be nice to middle October, because I know in the Midwest it's usually always rainy around that time of year for us. So
It'll be a new change, especially like the desert. So I think you guys are gonna really like it out there.
okay, cool. Yep, I think we're gonna be out there from the 10th through the 13th or something like that, or 11th, whatever that Friday through, because his birthday is on a Tuesday this year. So whatever that Friday through that Tuesday, do his big 25.
Nice, good for him.
Yeah, no, but it makes me old. And that's
Stop it.
listen, that's my youngest, because my oldest would be turning 28 in November. So, yeah.
Look, you look fabulous. You look fantastic.
Well,
Don't worry.
thank you.
You newly engaged. You got a lot of
Thank
things.
you. Listen, I'm trying to keep up with Michelle Stafford, and I'm trying to keep up with. Let me see, who else is up there around that age?
Michelle Stafford, I think Susan Walters. I'm trying to think of who else. Catherine Kelly,
Eileen Davidson.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of them look fantastic. And thank you, Autumn.
Okay, there's another super chat saying, "Hey Bree and T, can they just can they just go ahead and put Ridge and Brooke back together? Let's keep it real. There was no reason to bring Nick Maroney back if they're going to do the same played out storyline. I agree, and we will definitely have a lot to say when we hit Bold and the Beautiful. So stay tuned. All right.
Yeah, nothing great.
Yeah. We have a lot to say. Exactly. All right, so you guys that are newbies here, welcome to the chat. We do this every week. Sometimes it's on a Friday afternoon, sometimes it's on a Friday evening, and sometimes it may move to Saturday or Sunday. I usually put out a notifications, but you guys have been going with the wave. So whenever I go live, y'all show up, and I really appreciate that. All right. We do the Young and the Restless first. We do the Bold and the Beautiful, and then we do Beyond the Gates. And then we have some other fun segments at the end where it's flip the script. If there's a particular scene or storyline that you wish you could change, that's where we flip the script. Who's taking several seats? Somebody that got on your nerves, they was doing too much this week, and you want to give them a seat. Our star of the week, which is what actor or actress did a really great job this week. Our pickle of the week, somebody that was just like, oh my God, really? That's what we doing? And then we have our last one, which is our Simp Olympics. And if you've been on our show before or maybe passed through the Simp Olympics, there's some people that have stayed in the running. Some people got the platinum and the gold several times every week that we went. Carter, Michael. So that's what that entails. All right. So also make sure you not only follow here, but also follow the other platforms. So there's a Facebook group where I post because I have two other channels connected as well, which is YNR Unfiltered and The Shade and the Beautiful, which the YNR Unfiltered is growing by leaps and bounds. So I really appreciate you guys subscribing over there. And also in the Soap Corner Talk Facebook group, it's a lot of conversations going on over there. People sharing videos, oldies but goodie type videos back in the day with, so it's a lot of stuff going on over there. TikTok, Instagram, Threads, X, all on those other platforms as well. All right, enough is enough. Let's go ahead and we're going to kick it off by breaking down YNR. And I mean, we had two other separate storylines, I guess if that's what you want to call it, with Adam and Chelsea, and then the breakup of Tessa and Mariah. And then the rest was pretty much about Aristotle Dumas, a.k.a. Kane Ashby, a.k.a., as Bree would call him, Casper.
That's who he is. That's who he's been for the past however months. Like, we couldn't put a face to the name. I got so tired of him saying Aristotle Dumas. I'm like, no, this is Casper. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple. But he's here. He revealed himself finally. Mm-hmm. Even though they lied to us last week.
Girl. Yeah. They said on the 13th. On the 13th, man, we didn't see this man till the 1920th.
The spoilers just be lying sometimes.
Girl, unless it was still the 13th in soap time. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm like, unless it was the 13th in soap time, yeah, that went on for a whole week.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But he's here.
Finally. I don't know if they needed to do all of this to bring Kane back, but okay.
Yeah.
I guess. If you say so. All right. So, where do you want to start, girlfriend?
We can get Adam and Chelsea out the way.
Okay.
I know I at first I didn't really care for them, their coupling again, because of how toxic they used to be. But like the more and more I see them, the more and more I'm with it. I'm kind of on J Money's side with this. Like I'm okay with them as a couple. I'm not cheerleading for them, but I prefer them over Billy and Sally, in all honesty.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that gets me about Chelsea is she knows exactly who she's dealing with. She knows exactly the family that she's dealing with. Why is she so butthurt about Adam possibly doing Victor's bidding? I'm like, girl, you quit fashion to come into this mess.
Right.
You wanted this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree. I mean, she's begging this man not to do Victor's bidding. And it's like, Victor's his boss. Even though that's his son, Victor owned all of the Newman subsidiaries, including Newman Media.
Yeah.
So right now they're sitting pretty because of the fact that, Victor's over on the other side of the planet trying to deal with this Aristotle thing. But when he comes back to find out that Billy hasn't been railroaded, then what are you going to do? And they sitting up there
Exactly.
trying to figure out, oh, I couldn't come up with an idea of a fake story. So you'd rather lie and make up a fake story, and I'm not saying that they need to trash um Billy, but the thing is that it's like you gonna have to figure out something because Victor ain't stupid.
Exactly, and they're both going to be out of the jobs. But I saw something online saying that I guess Adam had created a contract where he can't get fired by Victor or something.
Oh, really? Okay, well that's interesting.
This was, I guess, when I guess Victor was hiring Adam on to take over Newman Media, and Nikki was in her feelings, and it was all to get her set up to go over Chancellor. But I guess he set up a contract to where he can't get fired.
Okay.
But I'm like, those contracts don't mean nothing.
Girl, please. Especially if the contract was written by Victor Newman.
Exactly.
He always going to figure out a loophole to get out of his own stuff.
Yeah. And my thing is, Adam has his MBA degree. He's not broke at all. Like, you're choosing to be under pressure when it comes to Victor, and you don't have to be. Neither one of them has to be. They could, if they're both smart, savvy people, they can create like their own company of whatever, makes them both happy. I don't understand like why all of Victor's children, minus Abby, chooses to be up underneath Victor's thumb and live on the property, by the way.
Yeah. I don't know. Chelsea, I think, is being delusional. I know she loves this man, and Adam is trying. I got to give him an A for effort. He is definitely trying to live up to. But see, here's the other caveat. I think what's also fueling him to not do this is his son. Because Connor has a relationship with Billy, and also Johnny, which is Billy's son, is his brother. And they're not little kids anymore. These are teenagers now. And so for, Adam to write up a scathing article about, his brother's father, that's going to be a whole problem. Victor don't care about nobody but himself. He don't care about them kids or nothing else. He just said they'll get over it.
Yeah. And that's my issue I have with Chelsea. It's one thing to put all this pressure on Adam to try to be the peacemaker and everything. Billy chooses to poke the bear and throw shots at Adam. If the shoe was on the other foot, Billy would have glad to post a whole article about all the stuff that Adam did. Without any hesitation, wouldn't care about the kids, nothing. It's like she's putting all this pressure on Adam, and then she had a whole freak out in the office. Oh my God, I knew you were going to go back and do Victor's bidding. Like, how can you do this to me? And this man was playing zombies, whatever, apocalypse or something on the computer.
Right.
With the kids.
Right. Yep.
I'm like, if you're that paranoid, why did you quit your job?
Right. You had a new career working at Marchetti.
A nice cushy position, doing fashion, like she said that was her passion.
Yep. Absolutely. So I don't know. I'm still not feeling them as a couple. They just don't interest me. There's no spark there for me. I mean, because number one, they've been there and done that, and they've done so many horrible things to each other.
Yeah,
You
but
know, I mean, I don't have a problem with them being great co-parents, but I just, But go ahead.
I I would say the same thing about Jack and Diane, and same thing about Victor and Nikki. Like they've done a great deal of like the horrible stuff to one another, and they still got together. I feel when it comes to Chelsea and Adam, I feel like they fit each other like a glove. It's like they're Velcro. Like I can't picture either one without the other. Like I never cared for Chelsea with Billy, except for like when Chelsea was with Billy, when it was Billy Miller who played him. Um, like I said, it's no shade whatsoever to the actors, but like it's a different type of chemistry. And when it came to Adam, I absolutely loved when he was with Sally up until she was sleeping with both brothers and,
Right.
pregnant and the smell and the stench.
Yeah, we were talking about that for the last 2.5, almost 3 years.
Yeah, and that kind of fizzled out. But either which way, I'm okay with them as a couple. I prefer them over Billy and Sally.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with Jack and Diane. I think at this point, because they are legacy characters, they figure like, you know what, all that back and forth dating different people like Jack and Victor used to do, they're up in age now. It's time to settle them down, have a matriarch, and and just let them just do them. So I mean, yeah, I could see that for the younger folks like Adam and Billy and Sally and Chelsea and Kyle and I wish they would just go ahead and put Sharon and Nick back together because again, they are semi legacy characters as well. Because otherwise they're just two single people with nothing to do. This is a soap opera.
I that part I agree with. I honestly don't want Nick and Sharon together. I'm like, ugh, no, don't do that to us, please.
Well, I mean, I get it, but it's other than Nick caping for Sharon and Phyllis, when ain't nothing going on, we don't see Christian. Sharon is, I don't. It's just like do something give them a storyline or something.
She has a whole company, and we see her more at the coffee house.
Exactly. That don't even make sense. But anyway, back to let's start the Genoa City stuff. So, outside of the conversation that's happening with Chelsea and Adam, we go over to the athletic club where we have the conversation with Holden and Nate. And I mean, Holden is trying to he talk about obviously Damien and Nate is like, look, he's been trying to help you out. I don't understand Holden's attitude because of the fact Damien has been trying to fix the situation, get him a job. It ain't like he just say to heck with him. I don't care what he do. Bye. I'm doing my own thing. Why is he so mad?
Yeah, I'm like, it's becoming a little bit insufferable. It's like you're choosing to pick a fight, and because of what? And my thing is, Damien was even trying to have him take over his position. Like he's always kept Holden in mind, and even when he knew that he was going to transfer over to Winters, even after he got fired, he was like, look, did you guys find a position for him?
Yeah.
What is Holden's issue?
I don't
like,
know.
You don't have to be in Genoa City.
No, there's no reason for it.
And I gotta hand it, the way that Nate handled this man was actually kind of sexy to me because I'm like, ooh, like he's not shaken, not bothered, not nothing, because Holden was really trying to poke the bear and try to poke an argument. And it served him no purpose. And Nate said, hey, you can always go back to LA. Show us what we're missing out on. If you have all this gripe about being here in Genoa City, you don't want to deal with my brother anymore. There's no other ties for you here. Why are you here?
Right. And then he keep dropping these little hints about Audra, which Nate tried to play cool, but I'm thinking to myself, Audra is withholding a lot of information from Nate, and Holden holds some of the keys to that information. This whole thing is going to blow up. Not only the Victor thing, but the missing details that she left out about her past with Holden.
Right. And I really just wish that Holden would just come out with it. He wants to drop those little nuggets for Nate so he can try to figure it out on his own. So Holden can come and pick up the pieces. Mm-hmm. But at this point, he's just making himself look foolish. Because like Nate said, he doesn't care. I mean, that's a foolish statement right there. Because I'm like, Nate, you should have just took a plane ticket and see what your girlfriend was doing.
I mean, you got the money. Because he even asked, "Man, I go with you?" And of course, she talked him out of it, because her job is to try to cook up something where, she trying to start something with Nate. I mean, with Kyle. And so, like you said, he could have just got a flight and carry his butt right over to Nice and boom, be right there with his cousins.
Yep, I agree. But he was foolish to just stay around, but I guess he was staying around for Amy. That's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
But he already he's been suspecting that Audra's up to no good.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand he was trying to keep his cool so Holden doesn't see him sweat. At the same time, you're a whole doctor. You should have enough common sense to know that something's not adding up right. You're being played. Mm-hmm. Maybe I should go ahead and just take this plane ticket and head over to Nice. Something.
Exactly. Paris Barnes put her flip the script in. She said her flip the script would be if Holden tried to tell Nate what Audra was doing. Because, I mean, he also knows bits and pieces of this whole thing of why she's working with Victor, too.
Mm-hmm. He pretty much put it all together because they were doing schemes together in L.A. And plus they both worked for Tucker McCall. So that sums up a lot for me there.
Right. Exactly. So, I don't know. That promo looked pretty darn interesting next week between Holden and Claire.
Right. Like the way she was sipping. She's a big girl now. I guess she's just sipping on alcohol every chance she gets.
I know that they definitely was trying to chem test those two. Do you actually think that she's going to give in to some sort of temptation with Holden?
I don't mind their chemistry.
I don't mind it either. I'm just shocked because she was so hard pressed on having approval of the relationship by her grandfather. That's been her main focus. Where have we gotten this so-called interest? I mean, yes, they had conversation, but where do we get this so-called interest now all of a sudden between Claire looking all googly-eyed at him?
I think when Holden isn't insufferable, when he's just, like a decent guy, that flirtation, especially when you get a little alcohol involved, this is kind of a new experience for her. She likes the compliments and the way he makes her feel. I think it would be easy for that girl to fall into that trap. Well, I say trap.
There is a spoiler for next week saying that he's going to have to rescue her, Holden, or something. I pulled up the spoiler on that he's going to have to rescue her or something like that. And I'm like, from what? Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, because we also, and I'm not going to dive too far deep into spoilers of next week, but then we see Audra trying to tempt Kyle with some suntan lotion. So let's move over to the Dumas stuff. Because I don't know, what did you think about the whole thing with the maze and all of this stuff that Kane is set up? What are you trying to prove something that, I'm rich as the rest of you all now? I don't get it.
Um, I mean, very blunt and honest. It was so boring.
I know.
Like,
And
it was boring. Y'all heard my voice notes. Like, they
mm-hmm.
went through a maze. They sat there on the park bench and they had lunch and they had dinner together. That was it. Like, I mean, it was almost every single scene that they panned to regarding prior to Demars' reveal.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care for it at all. I mean, good that they're mixing up the sets and everything, and it was a beautiful set. I'll give them that.
Girl,
But
it was just dumb. And when they spent 3 days bringing everybody in.
yeah, that part too. These erotic people are going on the train, and then we have this group here on the train, and Phyllis is by herself on the train, and did it have to be this slow of a rollout?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, they dragged this thing out for the entire week. And
yeah,
instead of just bringing, and then they're gonna drag in Lauren and Michael next week, and then Abby is slowly coming in next week, and so I'm like,
and
and
Chance
Chance too. So it's like, why do we need a week and a half to get everybody together?
to talk about
Nothing.
Kane.
Talk about Kane. You could have just brought this dude back rich. Why we had to go? What do you have to prove? I mean, you had this mysterious call with Billy Abbott. Lily had obviously been talking to Kane about the kids and been in contact and never knew he was Aristotle.
Mm-hmm.
Cause she like, what are you doing here? What do the kids know about this? So I'm like, okay, so they've been having conversation about the kids and stuff. And you mean tell me girl, I don't get it.
Monday's episode, I don't get that either. And have you seen it
Not yet.
already?
Mm-mm.
Girl, Lily is still insufferable.
Wow.
She got on my nerves this whole episode, Monday's episode. I'm like, you're mad literally for nothing. She's an Ashley.
I mean, why is she so mad? I have a feeling that you know what, here's the thing. When they brought this Aristotle Dumas thing at the beginning of the year, they made him this big mystery billionaire, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they secretly looking into people's companies, and Damien was working for him but never saw his face. I just think it was just a horrible plot to write, in my opinion. Y'all spent 6 months of build up to bring Kane Ashby back.
Yeah. And I was going to answer Nicole Euland's question. She said, who is Kane? What is his history? There's a quick little breakdown. He was Lily's ex-husband. He got with Lily when she was like 18 and he was like 10 years older than her. They've had like this back and forth for years. They had 2 twins. They're grown now. And then he was with her. He had a child outside of the marriage with one of his ex-coworkers who was suing him for an essay.
Yeah, he got drunk off of sake.
Yeah. And so he has a whole side baby. But Lily accepted the baby. It was up until she went to prison that she decided to divorce Kane. But they've been in communication, obviously, with the twins. And also, he was Australian, which I guess he's not now.
Right.
That was a big thing online, too. It was like, what happened to the accent?
Well, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I understand this is a recast. I wish they could have brought Daniel Goddard back, but he took a GH offer instead. And we ended up with Billy, what's his name?
Billy Flynn.
Billy Flynn from Days of Our Lives?
Yep. From Days, I was looking at some clips. He looked good.
So I never got into Days of Our Lives, so I'm really not sure. I mean, he seems like a pretty decent actor. I mean, just from how he was trying to talk and stuff. I guess I'll have to see him a little bit more as time go on. But I just don't understand why we did all of this. Amanda is working for him, and obviously she knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I'm assuming, how is this supposed to work? Because Phyllis, and I don't know if this is in the Monday's episode, one reason that Phyllis wanted to be there is to pitch an idea. So now that she knows that it's Kane, is she going to pitch an idea to Kane?
Phyllis will never lose focus. Let me say that.
Okay. And then we also had Kyle and Audra, who was going to have this big fragrance showdown and do it in front of Dumas. Dumas has no idea. Well, Kane has no idea about any of this.
No, but let me say Monday's episode, Audra definitely likes what she sees. She was a little extra parched when she saw Kane.
Well, she also see money too.
Exactly. She doesn't care whatsoever about Nate. I wish he would just go ahead and just drop her and keep his pride, but I guess not. But she said like, oh, he's very easy on the eyes. He's definitely very intriguing. I'm like, girl, she's trying to get all the detail, all the information. I'm like, you can get any of this from Nate,
right? Yeah. I mean, do I really want to talk about what led them there this past week? Not really, because they were fussing and eating and getting lost in that maze. That's all I could say besides some of the stuff we brought up from yesterday and today's episode.
I think the most annoying part about the maze thing was Sharon. She's like, oh, it's an adventure. You guys shouldn't be so negative. Girl, you weren't supposed to even be there. I was on Nikki and Victor's side.
Well, here's the interesting thing. She said, I'm enjoying the riddles and the puzzles. You went through a whole thing with Alan Laurent, who tried to do something similar, which is why Phyllis was having a reaction from it.
Exactly. But I guess Sharon has cured herself all of a sudden. I guess,
girl. She was just glad to be there.
She was glad to be in Nick's presence, and she was also trying her best to try to win Nikki over. Nikki was not having it. She's like, why is this girl here? Like, are y'all trying to get together? Like, why are you with Sharon, of all people?
Right.
She was not having it.
Exactly. Anyway.
Priscilla, because Nick wanted her to be there. She was perfectly fine with not going and staying there for Mariah and Tessa, but Nick just had to convince this woman to go for absolutely no reason.
Well, Mariah was the one that pushed her to go.
They tag team.
Mm-hmm. Because that's why they were saying, oh, I thought you wasn't going to come on the trip. Who was that said that? I think that was Phyllis. And then she was like, well, Mariah told me to go head on and she's going to be fine. Which we got to talk about that scenario too. But I mean, overall, this whole thing was just, I was like you said, it was boring. I'm on Diane's side when it comes to her telling Jack that she needs to get Kyle away from Audra. And he's like, oh no, he'll be fine. He know what to look out for. And I'm like, no, Jack, bring your son in.
This is the same man who chose to focus on Nikki and let Diane and Kyle fend for themselves over at Jabot.
Right.
And we saw how that turned out.
Exactly. And I mean, she is begging her husband to end this whole thing, you know, and he's like, we need to know what she's up to and blah, blah, blah. So you're just going to and she's even peeping the looks and glances between Audra and Victor.
Yep. She's on it.
She's on it.
He is delirious, except for when it comes to Nikki's perfume all of a sudden.
Oh, right.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, talking about, I smell her perfume. They're already here. And she was like, wait, excuse me?
I would feel away. Like, how do you know what perfume she's using currently?
Yeah, you remember your ex's fragrance. Oh, my goodness.
but you can't see what's going on in front of you when it comes to Audra and your son
Right.
and Victor. Okay.
Just hand him over. I wish he had took his first mind. I said this last week on the live. I wish he, went by his first mind and said, y'all go ahead and I'll stay here in Genoa City. Which, that should have happened. You the co-CEO. Who's running the ship?
Right.
Because y'all ain't got no cell service in that maze.
At all. And like, what if there's like an executive order issue? Like, who was in charge? That's a great question. Who's in charge over there?
Yeah,
it's not actually.
They don't have a COO, do they?
That technically is that Diane?
Well, even in that case, she's over in Europe with them. Kyle's had no business being there.
It's right. And I'm like, they're talking about like, oh, Jabot has nothing to worry about when it comes to Vibrante. Well, I mean, she's a startup. You guys have an established company and all the executives are gone off in a different country with no self-service.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
but that was Jack's dumb idea. Because Kyle was like, oh, no, I'm going to let you go ahead and handle it, and I'll stay here, and I want to be close to Claire because her dad is sick, and blah, blah, blah. That's what should have transpired. But no, Jack want to be like, no, we need to know what she's up to. You should be there, and especially if she's coming after Jabot. No, she's coming after Kyle and his relationship.
Yeah. She's trying to make sure she secures all the money for Vibrante. And I didn't realize this girl actually had a real fragrance.
Yeah, when did that happen? And she wore it too and talking about, oh my God, it's so intoxicating.
Yeah, Kyle said that. I was like, okay, so you just feeding yourself into it. But I wasn't so this company might actually be a real thing. Like the fact that she already has a whole perfume out, she's about to get this money for her company, all the rest of it. And I think eventually Holden's going to end up working for her, especially since Holden knows Audra's motivation for even trying to pursue Kyle. I think for him to want to work closer with Audra, he's going to help kind of push that along. And maybe that's why he's with Claire next week.
Well, here's the interesting thing. Remember, he has a contract out on himself that if he break Claire's heart, that he got to pay Victor $5 million and leave town, right?
That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in soap history.
Yeah, he put a contract on himself.
And then you had Victor draw it up. He had some sense to think like, okay, I'm gonna have my lawyers look over it. Victor gaslight him, and it's like, okay, it's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and sign it. You don't even know what's even in that contract.
Wow, but here's my thing though. What if Claire end up sleeping with Holden, which means that Kyle didn't break her heart. She broke his. So now what?
Well, look, I think they'll be okay. Well, not. I think Claire will prove that she's not so high and mighty, and then you got Kyle who will have a Tempur-Pedic to fall and lay his head at.
Wow.
But Jasmine, exactly.
She said she gave it a C minus.
Look, I don't blame you, Valerie. I don't blame you. That whole week of Y&R was just a complete dud.
It sure was. They had no reason to drag out for 3 days everybody arriving to Nice.
Exactly. Same, and they could have brought Monday's episode to this week's episode, in all honesty. Mm-hmm. It's more the same. And everyone's just questioning around like, oh, what does Kane do? How did he get his money? Why are we here? I got so sick of those questions.
Girl,
And it's
Yeah.
no shade once again to the actors whatsoever. It's just nothing was moving.
Right. It was
Nothing was
slow.
moving.
Yep. It was slow. All right. Enough of Casper. Um, we gotta talk about Tessa and Mariah because Mariah is taking this secret to the grave. She like, listen, I can't do this with you. I'm out. And that includes you and Aria. We can create a visitation schedule, but I'm done. What I did, I can't tell you. You think she killed that dude?
I think she unalived him. And I'm like, it's pretty obvious she slept with this man. I mean, especially the way that we saw that she was almost on a lead in for the kiss. I'm like, you kissed Tails? You slept with Tails from the Crypt, girl?
Girl, you stupid.
Look, he looked just, look, that was my first thought, and I'm so sorry. I'm like, at first, I'm like, did she unalive him or is she pregnant? There's a lot of people saying that this woman is pregnant.
By who? The old dude?
Yes. And that's why she's trying to go ahead and cut ties.
That's another storyline. I mean, okay, so what's the purpose of the storyline? I mean, they were on recurring for the longest. We hardly ever saw Tessa and Mariah after the whole baby Aria ear situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
They broke them up. Is it because maybe Cameron is taking a step back? I know she has a kid. Her and her boyfriend has a kid of their own. Maybe she's trying to focus on that. But what are we doing here?
I think they're trying to. I think it's not necessarily what Mariah.
It's the
I think
Daniel.
they're trying to. It's Daniel and trying to give him a new love interest. So they have to create some sort of conflict between Mariah and Tessa. And I agree with the guys in the chat. Like, Nicole, yes, Mariah is ridiculous and she's being so selfish. I'm like, everybody, it's pretty obvious you slept with a whole other person. But the way that she says, like, oh, if it was just a regular one-night stand, then I can get over it. So is it who you slept with? Are you more so embarrassed that you slept with Tales from the Crypt? Did you get pregnant because he didn't use, protection? Or did you unalive him? It's got to be something.
I don't know. It's somebody. And they had to make him look like Ian or something. It wasn't like a guy around her age or somebody like that. They ended up pulling somebody to look like an Ian lookalike.
Exactly. Another Ian lookalike, and then just the way, like, I would feel like if she unalived somebody, she would be more frantic.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that she's able to kind of carry on, and she's just being distant, and she's somewhat being a co-parent to baby Aria, like, I feel something tells me this girl is pregnant. Jenna, you agree too? You think she's pregnant again? I really feel is what it boils down to, because she can't forget about it. So, and the thing is, Mariah's not a stranger to cheating. I mean, look at how she got Tessa.
Right. Well, Tessa cheated on Noah. I mean, not Mariah. Yeah. Well, Mariah was the side piece.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And Mariah was also with Devon.
Right.
So she's no stranger to cheating. And plus, like, Tessa she was like, look, you don't think I know what's going on, what you did? And she's like, I forgive you for all of that. I'm like, you were a fool, but okay. She can't even woman up and say what she did. Mm-hmm. She's just like, you know what, let's separate and go our separate ways. I'm like, no. That's incredible. Like, you have somebody who, for one, is choosing to forgive you. And now you want to be disrespectful and then to sum up the rest of your guys' marriage because you can't woman up and say what you did.
I just think they're trying to move the storyline along to push her with Daniel and maybe Cameron might be backing off or something for a while. Because where did Cameron go from here unless they are going to bring in what happened? But they're not telling us nothing. We've been dealing with this since April.
There's got to be something more. There's more to this story. Like, what if this man was like Ian's brother or something?
Girl, I don't
Or
know. I just want to know what it is so we can move on. And I mean, obviously, she broke up with the girl. They hyped up the whole thing with Daniel telling Danny, oh, she's really been there for me and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, just get it over with. Move Tessa over to Daniel and let's just keep it moving. And then you got
yeah,
Danny thinking about proposing to Cricket.
yawn.
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, please do that off screen.
Girl, that's just nobody want to see that. And what they gonna do? Try to get Phyllis gonna be up. I don't know. She might be upset, maybe not. But please,
She gonna flip a. She's gonna pop off. We already know Phyllis.
that's what. But the problem is they won't give her a romance story. She hasn't had one in 3 years.
And that's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, that
The
last
way
one
this
that she
woman
broke up
looks,
with Nick.
and that's, to be honest, I would rather see her with Nick. Their banter is actually more tolerable than me seeing him with Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like Nick and Phyllis together. They're hot, they're spicy together. But yeah, give this woman a love interest. Look at this woman. Every dress is painted on. She keeps her body together. She's fun. She's spicy. She needs a Bill Spencer type on this show to keep her mind off of bringing chaos to her life.
Yeah, all she's doing is she's just trying to find the next new gig and the next new deal and the next new this, and she's just running through town. I mean, and it's the writing because she could have been, if they had wrote it properly, she could have been with that guy Jeremy, right? They had
Jeremy Stern.
yeah, they had chemistry. She could have been with the Tucker with the Trevor guy, right?
Trevor St. John.
Right. They had chemistry, but y'all blew that out the window.
And that's really what it boils down to. Phyllis just needs a man. She's running around crazy. She needs someone, a shoulder to cry on, make her feel like a woman again, somebody who can make her feel good. You know, the fact that they got this woman so frantic and kind of all over the place, and like Michelle Safford, she is a talented actress, absolutely. I would just love for Phyllis to get a love interest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would be nice to see that. I'm like, how is it Sharon has had more love, and actually, correction, how is it Audra has had more love interests in 3 years over Phyllis?
They could have gave. I'm trying to think. It was something else I was gonna say about her. But those are the two prospects that now Jenna in the chat is saying that there's a news flash that this summer she's going to end up with a new job and a new love. But with who?
Mm-hmm.
Who? Aristotle?
I hope not.
I hope not. Who else is it going to be? Damien? But there's rumors about him being knocked off. So
Yep.
I mean, who's the love interest? Who's going to come in? The other thing is that I wanted her and Billy to run Abbott Communications together. They threw that script out the window.
I was so disappointed with that, T. Their chemistry, I was really rooting for Phyllis and Billy.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I wanted them as just co-workers, but the more and more I saw them, I was like, they could be a hot couple again.
Either one would have worked, Bree. I mean, just the fact it would have gave her a job, and she would be one heck of a company runner. I mean, I know she can do it. The thing is that they keep having her run after these whole harebrained schemes and trying to undermine other women and all this sort of kind of stuff that she loses herself in the process.
Yeah. And granted, this is part of Phyllis's DNA. I feel like she has moments where she has like a little bit of growth. Like she had a little bit of growth when it came to her son. She realized she couldn't change anything. She didn't let him go about his own way. But then they wrote her to where she's trying to pitch to run chancellor. And I'm like, Nick was going to offer you money to start your own company.
Right. Yep.
I'm like, stress free, and I feel like Nick still will offer that woman that, and he wanted to do that willingly. But no, I want to run chancellor. What is with people wanting to run chancellor that are not family?
I don't know. My question is, and I guess that gets into further down the road with Kane trying to get Chancellor back. Because remember, that was the whole thing with working with Billy, is to try to get his hands on Chancellor. How's that supposed to work now? Everybody know who he is. What you gonna do? You got money? Victor already know that the so-called Aristotle, who is now Kane, wanted to take Chancellor. You think Victor gonna let Kane do that?
Watch Monday's episode.
Okay, cool.
His motivation for me is very clear. Is what I've been saying all along.
Okay. We'll see.
It's for Lily.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Poor Damien. Anyway.
It's his own fault.
Yeah, well. But now there's some spoilers talking about how she gonna be leaning into Damien all next week, so we'll see.
Now, okay.
Now, cause she mad. She big mad.
She trust me, when you watch Monday's episode, it's another Ashley situation, like on Beyond the Gates. It's nothing.
Gotcha. Oh God, please. Oh man, that's one thing we gotta talk about on BTG. Good God.
Yeah.
All right. I will, Jenna. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, Bree watched it, so
yeah,
I'll get a chance to take it. I'll get a chance to check it out.
Yeah, Jenna. It explains it all. His whole motivation, everything.
All righty. Do we need to talk about anything else on Y&R for this week? I think that pretty much sums it up, or at least highlight it, because we went through 3 days of. Yeah.
I mean, they didn't give us much else to talk about.
Nope. All right. Let us move it along. We're going to go over to the bold and the beautiful, which... Oh, my God. So, how is... I don't know. What do you think about this whole thing with Luna? Are you over it?
Me personally, I don't mind Luna's antics. She is a villain. She's serving her purpose. It's just everyone else within the storyline.
Okay.
They're repeating literally the same script back and forth, and on top of that, they're making no moves to protect their family against Luna. I think the part that messed me up was Finn saying, like, oh, I got a baseball bat underneath my bed.
Girl.
That's the security you got?
Right. Rich as y'all are. That's the security you got. Nobody call the police, because they could at least get her for trespassing. They already told her not to come back there, and she keep coming back.
Yeah. A restraining order, anything. Better locks at the door. They could have hired security. Anything.
Yep.
This girl has popped up at your house. How many times in the same day, by the way, because they were in the same clothes for, 2.5 weeks? That seems to be the running theme on the show. Repeat the same storyline and have the same people in the same clothes for 2.5 weeks, but okay. But even still, nobody's still making moves.
Girl, I'm just
You
bored.
have Lieutenant Baker on speed dial.
Girl, I'm just bored with the show. I'm bored with it. I mean, y'all keep using Luna like every other month as a headline or storyline, and it's like, why? You know, and I said this, I think maybe last week or the week before last, is that Finn opened that box. Don't go over there, have two DNA tests, track down Poppy, beg her for the truth, go to the prison, end up getting the warden to tell you where she's at. You go over there and then say, you know what, I need to let you know the information that I'm your father. And then you pull the rug from up under the girl and say, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. What you go through all that for?
Yeah.
Now, granted, do I think she should know? Sure. But why did you tell her if you're going to cut her off?
My point exactly. Like, he could have kept it to himself. Well, like, you told her, and then at the same breath, you say she's crazy and she's deranged and all these different things. Okay, well, but guess what? She's moving like a crazy, deranged person. Now that she knows who her father is, now that she wants a relationship with her father. I'm so over Finn. I'm sorry. And this is what I was trying to, I know I didn't have a chance to join the chat last week.
Right.
But this is what I'm saying about how weak-minded this man is, especially when it comes to Steffi. He's talking about, I want to protect my family. I'm going to go above and beyond and do this. Sir, that girl was sitting in your kitchen with your son, like, inches away.
Right.
And you're just having a whole full-blown conversation so she can hear it. Where was the phone call? Where was you throwing this girl out? Where is the action?
Right.
You're just giving Steffi words of affirmation so she can feel good that you're at least saying that you're choosing her over your daughter. Okay. Move like you are protecting your family. You got a baseball bat underneath your bed. What is that supposed to do?
Girl, I guess he gonna take his little Louisville Slugger and be like, bow. That's it? When you could have did other preventative measures to put in place for that.
And here's my thing. You brought up the fact that he went over to Bill's to let her know that he was her father. And that same day that girl was pardoned. From the time she was pardoned to now, where's the security measures?
Yep. Now, do I think... I don't know. It's a tough situation. You know, let me ask you a question. Let me ask this question. And even in the chat, if you're open to answering this question. Just say they had a way to figure out some kind of way for her to build a connection with Finn away from the Cliff House. Like, she has an apartment. Finn goes over there, spends time, visit, you know, they get to know each other, allow her to rehabilitate her life because she got a second chance. And then when he's ready to go home, he's ready to go home. Steffi don't even have to interact with this girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the fact that he wants no contact, that's the problem. She wants to be able to build a relationship. She keeps showing up because she wants her daddy. And believe me, I can understand that. Then try to figure out a way to say, okay, how do I... But see, the problem is Steffi got put in a cage by this woman, so of course she going to feel some kind of way about that.
And actually, Jenna, I'm glad that you said that, because that would have been a way for him to rectify the situation. She said if Luna was back in prison, it would be fine for Finn to visit with her. They could bond like that, and it would be safe for everyone else. Being the fact that she's pardoned, I was thinking, especially everyone keeps saying that she's unhinged, she's mentally unstable. This man has medical connections. Why don't you put her in a mental facility to where there's 24-hour security, you can monitor it, and you can kind of dangle the bait like a little bit of like a carrot and say, hey, if you stay in here, go through therapy for 60 days, I'll come and visit you like once a month. She can't beat that. And then she can start to have somewhat of a relationship with her father, and they know where she's at all times. But that's what smart people would do. But once again, just because you have a degree doesn't mean you're smart.
So
He's a whole doctorate.
just say if Steph wasn't the issue, do you think he would have a relationship with her? Do you think
Yes.
Steph is truly the issue? Or Finn is truly not wanting to be around her?
I feel his loyalty is to Steffi. And if he was never with Steffi, I think that he would have had a relationship with both Sheila and Luna, in all honesty. Because even prior to him knowing about Luna, he was struggling a bit with his feelings in regards to his birth mother. And he had to sneak around going to El Giardino so he won't upset Steffi, especially when Deacon was calling him over to talk about Sheila. And if he completely wanted to write both of those women off, he would have done that. He would have put in security measures, but he's leaving that door open to where this girl can pop up at the doorstep, walk in like it's nothing. Each and every single time, it's like you asking for this girl to basically come. You know her motives is to come and see you. And if you're really gung-ho about trying to protect your family, where's the security measures? That girl was pardoned back in February, March, something like that?
Right.
We're in the middle of June.
So, Bree, here's the other thing I'm noticing about Taylor. Taylor sees something there. Meaning, like, listen, that man is still his kid. And she keeps saying little things to kind of, at the same time, she's trying to protect her daughter. But she also sees the other side of this thing. I just figured to keep somebody, to do damage control, you're going to have to figure out a way to keep something at bay. I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, because now she's at the extent of trying to come after Hayes now.
Exactly. And I'm like, the Foresters and Finn are waiting to the absolute last minute. They had plenty of time to prepare with anything. Because they were talking about like, oh, we need to get her back in jail. Okay, the girl is trespassed. The girl is harassing you. Get a restraining order. If she breaks it, she's in jail. Now, isn't she?
Easy peasy.
But no. You're just telling this girl, like, we don't see you as family. Hayes is not your brother. Finn is not your dad. We don't ever want you to come back. Like, what the hell is that supposed to do?
Nothing. Jenna, we do understand that Lisa Yamada is more than likely going to do a different show or something like that, but we're just talking about the current dialogue.
Yeah. And I mean, this is unfortunately it's like a slow moving train with this storyline. I'm hoping they move this storyline along, because I'm like, Jacqueline should have given birth by now, right?
I would think. I thought she was due in May. It's almost, we're like, what's today, the 20th? We're about 30 days in June? We're about 10 days away from July.
Yeah, so I would assume they're about to write this girl off. I couldn't imagine this girl working after giving birth. I mean, me personally, I don't think I would be able to do that. But Jacqueline's a superhuman.
Yeah, I know, right? Her snapback is quick.
It's insane. Good for that woman. But we don't know we know that she's going to do something with Hayes. She's going to cane at Hayes. But I'm like, how does that lead to Steffi's exit? Something is about to happen to where Liam is going to save the day. I find it really odd that this man was just over at the preschool house.
But
And that's
okay,
another gripe I
I
have.
guess what I don't understand though, Bree, based on the previews that we saw next week, now they got this whole thing with her and Will. I don't know if this is a dream, a fantasy, or is this something else. To me, I think it's a dream, but
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to set up a trap or something. I don't know. I found that the fact that they revisited that again, and I'm like, okay,
why
I guess
exactly?
it's just random. And I'm trying to go along with the ride like all the other viewers, but I'm like, just make it make more sense, please.
Right.
Like the fact that they turned the beach house into a school, I'm like, what?
Yeah, girl, and then Liam is freaking out. I mean, the man, oh my God, I'm so scared. I'm like, dude, you should be at somebody's hospital.
Or better yet,
Go,
shouldn't he be with Elizabeth and
right.
Kelly?
And yes, but you worried about whether or not Finn can do his job as a husband. You need to be spending time with your brother, your other brother, and your dad.
And your two girls that
Exactly.
he said he was trying to fight to be with. You over here with Hayes. Hayes has nothing to do with you. Unless they're trying to drop little Easter eggs about something. And I think that's the direction they're going in. He has this need to want to protect Hayes. Where did that come from?
Right. Yeah, well, All right, let's keep it moving, girl. So we also have the situation with Nick Maroney coming back, and he moved quick. He was like, "Hey, I'm in town. I was breezing through, and by the way, I still want to be with you." Talking to Brooke, I'm like, "Dang, that was quick." And you kissed the girl. I came back for you. I heard that Ridge is back with Taylor, so I figure I can get in where I fit in.
I'm like, okay, well, all right. Hey, I like that. Move the storyline along. I appreciate that, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
There's no guesswork.
Right.
And he came in and said, like, oh, I always keep tabs on the people that I love. I'm like, you probably spoke to Jackie, who spoke to Bridget about what was going on over there at Force of Creation, sir. Stop.
Right. Girl.
But I'm glad they mentioned Brooke's other child that we never get to see her with.
Yeah, but Ridge is not a happy camper. So he comes in and finds out that, he's been sniffing around Brooke now that he's in town, his half brother, and he had the audacity to tell Brooke to stay away from Nick Maroney. Like why do you care? She
Exactly.
could go date the pool boy if she wanted to. It's none of your business. You're with Taylor.
And he said he's in love with Taylor. He loves Taylor. He's not leaving her. Not blah, 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 blah. And then the very next scene, you see her with Nick. What do you want her to move on or do you not? Do you like when she's making herself look desperate to trying to pine for you or not?
Right. Girl, I don't know. It's just, it's all over the place. It was a time where when Bold came on, you look forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Especially when Nick was on the show, because he was one of the messiest men on the show.
Girl, I mean, even within the past few years, because obviously Nick has been gone for a while, but even there were certain storylines that we will look forward to, like, ooh, Bold is on. I gotta go watch Bold. And now it's just stuff is all over the place.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if they're just, maybe taking a break because it's the summer, and maybe that's why we're getting, weeks and weeks of people in the same clothes. Yeah. I don't know what this is, but I mean, I'm. It's more the same. I mean, you and I and the Sophies can pretty much write the script as far as when it comes to Brooke and Ridge and Nick and Taylor, but we can write it ourselves and it's the same outcome. You know, Ridge is jealous. We knew. Brooke is using Nick as a prop. I think someone said in the chat. We knew that. Taylor is jealous and going to make herself look like an idiot next week. I'm just,
Yep.
I'm just here for the ride.
So we also had Taylor asking Eric about whether or not he support Brooke over her relationship with Ridge, and it's like, why do you care?
She's asking this question a little bit too late. She should have asked that right after that fashion show and put him on the spot.
Yep, put him on the spot. How are you gonna rehash this after what has it been, 2 months, a month and a half? Yeah, since this fashion show. Now you want to ask Eric, oh, by the way, at the fashion show, I understand you were behind Brooke and the Showstopper. Can you tell me whether or not you support me and Ridge and not Brooke and Ridge? I'm like, girl, even if it doesn't matter, does Ridge support you and Ridge?
She has to get affirmation at least more than once about that, so she didn't even trust this man's words.
Yeah, and
but
I mean,
based off
go ahead.
The previews for next week, she's gonna lose her mind.
Yeah,
what she's about to do.
There's a lot of spoilers and speculations out there that somehow down in overseas, Ridge and Brooke might get back together, which who gives a flying flip? This is the 197,000 times that we've seen them two get back together. Just do like Y&R. Make them Nikki and Victor and just keep them, together in perpetuity.
And then what do they do with Taylor?
Girl, give it a Bill or somebody. I mean, Bill is single as a Pringle.
He is single as a Pringle. I hate when they lock certain characters together, but they don't have them like venture out and like do chem testing on the show specifically. They used to do that, and we would kind of look forward to like, oh, they had some really good chemistry. Like, I wonder if we're going to see more scenes with them. No, they put Brooke, Ridge, and Taylor pretty much in the same scenes, and if it's not about the kids, it's about them fighting over Ridge. And
right,
same thing goes with everyone else on the show. It's just more of the same. Like, we all could write the show in our sleep.
Jasmine said, I would love for Brooke to tell that growling waffler to kick rocks and go home to his co-solution choice that he made and leave her alone.
Co-solution?
Right.
Ooh.
She said co-solution.
It's the truth. But still, I would like for one, it would be nice to see Brooke not pining after the man and like really try to make like a power play, like something completely different. Same way they're trying to write, from what Scott Clifton was saying, that they're not trying to focus on anything romantic. At least that's what they're saying. But have Brooke move in that same direction where it's like a power play or her starting a new, something different. The fact that she was begging this man, he cussed out your daughter in front of your face, and he hung up on your face. He had no problem sleeping with the next woman. Like, there's all these different things, and you've been pining over this man since before Christmas.
Girl, that's her destiny.
Look, Dusty Destiny, just, yeah, I couldn't do that. Like, forget the destiny. Can I get some reality and get somebody who's going to be real for me?
Right. I agree.
And apparently Nick wants to be that man.
Yeah, well, it looked like both Taylor and Steffi was not happy about Ridge's reaction to this whole Nick and Brooke thing.
See, and I got
Go ahead.
Give Steffi her props.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Steffi was like, okay, and so why do you care? She's a grown woman. Why do you care? And how do you think my mama feel about you feeling some kind of way?
Yeah, mm-mm. The way that she checked her father is like, you shouldn't be the least bit concerned. Like, you're with my mom. Like, why do you even care? You sound jealous. The fact that it's obvious to your child.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sir, why are you dragging Taylor along like this?
Right.
Like, you're saying the words, but like your motivation, your actions is another thing. Because if you're over this woman, be all the way done. And this is just, I don't like this destiny card that they're trying to play. I'm talking about the writers. This whole thing between these three people over the course of 30 plus years. They got grandchildren, for goodness sakes.
Right.
It's just become pitiful to watch both women like this.
Going back
really
and forth
is.
over this man like that. He loving every minute of it. But the moment Brooke attention is focused, I'm gonna always protect her. I'm gonna always have love for her. And it's like, dude, stop. You know you feeling some kind of way because now she's over there looking at him, but not really because she's taking Ridge's reaction as hope that he's going to come back to her.
And I'm like, what is Ridge doing to these women? And it has to be the bedroom. Whatever Ridge is doing to these women, they cannot let that go. Same way Vanessa can't let Joey go to the point where she can't walk the next day. Is that what Ridge is doing to these women?
Oh man, girl, I guess. Shoot, Taylor had a whole broken heart syndrome over this man.
I mean, does he have heavy artillery down there? Like, is he? I'm just curious at this point, the fact that these women have been with different men in their lives, and they keep wanting to come back to this broken record.
Yeah. Obviously, he got something going on that they keep coming back.
And I'm like, I'm like, okay, well.
Like, whatever.
If that's how they want to choose to live the rest of their lives, that's pretty sad.
Yeah, I agree with that. We also had Steffi wanting to bring back Daphne Rose, and look like Hope has a problem with it, and Carter is trying to tell them that Hope has a problem. I'm thinking to myself, like, why are you even asking? You run the company. Why do you need to coddle her feelings in order for you to make a business decision?
Yeah, I was really confused about that. Especially Carter's actions and everything he said earlier today. I'm like, Hope should just be happy to even have a job, which apparently she's happy. She's at the company she loves and always wanted to be in.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't saying that last year, but okay.
Yeah, right.
But be happy you even have a position over there. They forgave you, and I think I can't remember who said it in the chat. I think Nicole was asking, did Hope ever apologize to? Yeah, Nicole Ewan, did Hope ever apologize to Ridge? She gave like a half apology.
Mm-hmm.
She was more so sorry about how everything went down.
Right.
Not necessarily her actions, but how everything went down.
Yeah, I'm like, if you need to, y'all the co-CEOs. I mean, okay, yeah, stuff happened, but y'all did way worse than what she did to Carter. And she acting all crazy and whatnot. I'm like, you just 8 months off of kissing Finn. What do you mean?
Yeah. And
she kissed Carter, and I need her to respect my relationship. And I'm like, girl, you didn't respect nobody else's.
right, wearing lingerie, pulling Finn into the room with them ugly fashions, like, and saying that that's your kindred spirit and that you want to knock Steffi down a peg. Come on, you were zeroed in on a whole married man. At least when Daphne was going after Carter, this man was she was being so disrespectful to this man and using this man.
Girl, you mean
and he wasn't even married.
dismissive? You heard I said.
Huh?
She was being dismissive. Girl,
Yeah.
and look how long it take her to accept that proposal.
Oh, and keep in mind, she wouldn't even worry about Carter if it wasn't for Liam.
Mm-hmm.
After she found out all this stuff with Liam, she was perfectly fine going back to Liam, and he was like, "No, we should try to make things work with Carter." Okay. Prior to that conversation, Carter was telling her, "Take all the time you needed." She would have took all of that time.
Mm-hmm.
She did not want to be with this man. We went through 3 days practically of him proposing, him remixing the proposal. Then he had to bring up Liam, and then all of a sudden now she wants to say yes.
Right.
But I'm like, you got the ring now, girl. What are you so pressed about?
Right. Exactly. What you worried for?
Yeah. Are you worried someone's going to call you out on your mess?
Right.
In this fake engagement? But I mean, I don't know. I'm okay with Daphne coming back. I know J Money is really excited about her coming back.
Girl, please. A lot of I mean, it's mixed reviews. I see some people saying, "Yeah, we need. I would like to see Daphne come back and, try to get with Carter." And then there's other folks that's like, "Nope." Mm-mm.
Yeah. J Money, he does not like the Daphne character at all. J Money, I don't know if you're listening. I know you're probably listening in the background, but I knew she was coming back. It was a matter of when.
Well, they put her in the credits, and they also put her in the cast photo, which just happened in the past couple months when they re-signed the contract. So I just figured she was taking a break. I knew at some point they were going to bring her back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm glad, because it's nice to see someone, go up against the Logans and kind of tell them off and tell them to mind their business. That was really refreshing to hear a character do that. And plus, Steffi needs a friend.
Right.
I was glad that Steffi said, "Hey, I need my friend back." Even though Steffi kind of left the girl hanging, but we'll eventually get Daphne back. Mm-hmm. And plus, someone has to pick up the pieces for Carter when Hope breaks his heart. I feel it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Mm-hmm. And this is why I feel if let's say Liam ends up saving Hayes from Luna, because I'm like, why would they wrap him into the storyline? Hope is going to be by Liam's bedside, and all this time and everything. It's going to change everything, and you're going to have Daphne picking up the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Something's got to give, but...
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I don't know. I'm assuming that they're bringing her back to actually, kind of... Because people are saying that she might ruin their wedding. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. So... Because I have a feeling that Liam is going to get healthy. And when he does, bye-bye Carter.
Oh, yeah. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. And it's Carter's karma, too, because he left Paris at the altar. Mm-hmm. So I feel this is going to be his karma, and Hope is going to leave him at the altar.
Right. Exactly. So do we got anything else on that one?
They had that Deacon interaction. I'm surprised that he just pushed Carter and said, "Hey, do the right thing," and gave him a handshake. I guess that's like a guy thing. I'm like, okay, but that's pretty much it. Um, I'm looking at the pictures on the screen. I'm like,
Yeah, it's like that's about it.
yeah.
All right, let's move it along. We're going to Beyond the Gates. There's so many moving parts on this thing, girl. I mean, I gotta say, they have my ass glued to the screen.
And so did Jacob's daddy too.
Why do you say that, girl?
That is a fine looking man. There's been some fine looking men on this show. I'm just like, ooh wee. But Jacob's fine daddy, yes. He's a bad man, but I forgive him.
Okay, so we had the aftermath of a session between what's that girl name?
Who are you looking at?
At the top.
Aftermath of the Ashley.
Ashley. No, not Ashley. The other one. The oh God, what is the girl? I'm drawing a blank. Naomi's sister.
Oh, Chelsea.
Chelsea, and what's the girl that she's with? Madison. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so we had the aftermath of that, and they, I guess Danny decided to create a whole meet the family type dinner. We had the breakup. I mean, Derek is like, listen, I ain't got time to play with you. And we had a little bonding moment between Naomi and her pops. There's the gentleman that you're referring to, Jacob's daddy, with Joey and the other cop guy. And then look like Smitty is getting close to solving some things that maybe he might not need to be involved in.
Yeah. He's going to find out what's going to happen with his husband. He's going to end up I think he's going to release a story about his husband.
Ooh, girl, that's what I'm talking about. Soapy, crazy drama.
Yep. And I can't wait for it.
I got to say, Michelle Valjean definitely know, and her writers, they know how to write. And some of this stuff is like, it's shocking. Like I say, the whole Derek and Ashley thing, it needs to go. Because obviously there's nothing there. But when they had dude come up in Martin's ear and say, let's see what color your money is. And then he attributed back to a flashback of what happened 2 years ago. This is how you write.
Yes. And it's every single episode, they have been just killing the soaps just as a whole. Like they have, like they're beating the other two soaps. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm glued to the TV screen. They actually have storylines and new characters, and it's just fresh.
Yep. Them creating that separate plot line that connects Jacob's father to this. I'm like, ooh, what is he gonna do when he find out his daddy is a part of all this?
Oh yes, and then they have this stuff going on with Vanessa. I agree with you, Jenna. I love Vanessa. Love her. She's one of my favorite characters on this show. This is the messiest woman on this show.
Girl, she was like, she told Joey, you didn't even have to go through all this stuff to blackmail, my husband because of his gambling debt. If you wanted to run money through my business, all you had to do was ask.
Oh, I was just like...
And he looking like, what in the world?
Oh, my Lord. Oh, I can't wait to get into that. This woman right here is the messiest of them all. She's going to be the next Mrs. Joey, whatever his last name is. She's going to be a mafia wife.
Well, here's the interesting thing. She's still connecting she still got some sort of a connection with her husband, even though they still two ships in the night, because she negotiated a deal that was 20% because Joey wanted to get him 3. And both of them was like, no, you're going to give me 20. And he actually took the deal. I think he was more impressed with her directness and her not being afraid, because most people be like, oh my God, I don't want you to run money through my book. She was like, shoot, I know people who know people who know people. So if you trying to get hooked up and get the connections and get put on, you're going to have to cut the check.
Yeah, the way that she played that situation, I was like, and she loves it. I think we said this about 2 weeks ago when Joey brought them both to the table and said like, hey, your husband has gambling debts and me and your wife were on this poker table. Like, she loves this whole thrill. This gives her excitement. She's with a bad man. She doesn't care that she could go to jail for it. Nothing. She is all for it. This is gonna be, Vanessa is one of the messiest women on the show. We thought Leslie was crazy. You have this woman who comes from wealth and she doesn't mind going to jail.
Yeah, I mean, even Doug asked her in today's episode, like, you do realize what you're getting yourself into. And he was like, why do you like you excited about the thrill of danger? And she's loving every minute of it. I guess she figured her life is so boring that she need to find her some chaos.
Look, like we were saying earlier, the way that Joey put it on her, she ready to commit crimes with this man.
Mm-hmm.
Crimes.
Yep.
She said, forget this cushy lifestyle. This man made sure I'm not walking again the next day.
Right.
She's definitely not getting that from her husband. So, look, she's getting all excitement in different ways, and she can't resist. She's like, look, my kids are grown. Look, I'm going to make things happen. The fact that she negotiated this deal is just great writing. I absolutely love this Vanessa character.
Mm-hmm. I really do. I really do. What did you think about the conversation between Ted and Nicole?
A part of me is okay. Like, I get Nicole is trying to get over what her husband did. And I understand it's going to take some time. I think she just needs to kind of decide whether or not she really wants her marriage, because I feel like part of her does and a part of her feels like if she steps away, maybe she might fall in love with him again. But I feel like this opens the door for people like Carlton to try to make his move, who was that tall drink of water from last week. But I mean, he's making an effort to show his love and affection, and she's handing off flowers to the nurses and everything. But you know, this is not an easy situation, especially if they've been together for over 30 plus years, and there's a child, an outside child involved. I would assume, especially since she's a therapist, wouldn't want you guys just go to couples counseling and try to, you know, salvage, especially 30 plus years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's been, like you say, it's been a long time ago. And I guess the part of it that's wrong is he kept it a secret. He was paying off Leslie, Dana, whatever her name is. And then there's a kid in the middle of this, and all this drama came right back, even though he thought he had got it under control. So it definitely bought some things and put on her plate on the table. You know what I mean?
You know what I think? I think she would forgive him about the affair It's just Eva is that sore reminder of that affair, and she's not going anywhere. So I think that's hard for her to move past from. And also, that same girl was telling lies and trying to, worm her way into the family. I feel like there's a sense of betrayal on top of the betrayal. Like, he betrayed her, and that person that he created a baby with, was doing other levels of betrayal. It's just a lot to try to just move past a simple affair. It's not so simple anymore.
Right, it's not. Yeah, it was his movements around it. The actual act happened 30 years ago, but
Right.
it's how he moved. Getting Bill involved and paying, like I said, paying off the money, keeping that secret. All of that stuff came back to bite him in the butt that he did not have under control.
And that's the other thing. Leslie was worming her way, and he knew about Leslie, and he was also trying to pay that woman off again, and try to keep everything quiet still. So he, it's something he should have never have done. He even said it, but I feel like with her being a therapist, salvage your marriage, go to couples counseling, and get your feelings out the healthy way. Because trying to separate, what is that going to
Exactly.
do?
Exactly. Let me see. So we did you want to go ahead and elaborate more on the Smitty thing? Because I thought you said when you get to that part, did you have any more on that?
I think I was talking about the Vanessa thing, which we hit on. But when it comes to Smitty, I honestly feel this man, he's going to end up releasing the whole story about his husband.
That's going to be insane.
Yeah, because he's doing all this deep diving, and he's an investigative journalist. It's going to be one of the biggest stories, to really put his career out there all over again. And I feel like if he doesn't use his name to report that story, he's going to use somebody else. But he's going to put that story out there. And the fact that there's so many moving parts with this whole thing, like the guy right there at the top, the bottom right side, has resurfaced and taunting Martin, and then you got Jacob's fine daddy getting paid off for basically hiding his crimes. I'm like, the Duprees were hiding so much.
Yeah.
And this is why I feel like Jacob's daddy was also working with Bill to try to help cover all of this up.
Well, you see the previews for next week, because everybody is in Bill's office, along with Vernon is in there, all of them.
And Ted.
And Ted, too.
I'm like, wait a minute. Why is he there? Did he surgically, put somebody together or something?
Girl, I don't know. This is about to get crazy, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this is about. This is what I mean, Bold and Y&R, when you have fans that are looking forward to what's coming next, who have their eyes glued on the screen for an hour. Not going through a maze looking for invisible Dumas.
Right. And it's somebody you all knew, by the way.
Right. And we spent 3 days doing that with 3 sets of families, when we're getting a bunch of moving parts every day on Beyond the Gates.
Because I'm still, freaking out at the fact that Ted knew what his son did.
Ooh. Well, his granddaddy and his grandmama know what he did. Of course, they trying to keep, damage control of the family. But Ted knows, too.
Nicole's going to lose her mind, because she was already freaking out about Danny. Like, all these secrets. Like, everybody's just lying to me.
What do you think about her not being happy about the whole thing with Danny and Andre?
I'm like, that had nothing to do with Nicole.
Why are you so mad?
Right. She was already suspecting them getting together. She even flirted with the idea. She's like, "Oh, are you dating my nephew?" Um, I mean, now you know that she was sleeping with them. What does it have to do with you?
Right.
And she's talking about, like, I saw this boy when he was born. Like, he's old enough to be your son. Well, that's not her son.
And she also
Weird.
said that, man, he's older than that. He ain't old enough to be my kid. So I'm assuming that he's older than Naomi.
No, I would assume he's the same age. I would assume he's in the mid-30s.
Well, because they want to go public. They already got busted out by Chelsea and Kat when he
Right.
come over there saying what he said. And look like, Chelsea's cool with it.
I mean, Chelsea is just
But she ain't cool with Double D.
the double D mosquito, as Jasmine Williams be saying.
Right.
I call her the Bride of Chucky. We all got kind of nicknames for Haley.
You mean for Haley?
Yeah, she the Bride of Chucky. She the child bride. Just a walking mess. Double D mosquito, everything. She's just a mess. But yeah, Chelsea, she's just not going to accept. And I understand. I respect that way more. You have Andre. He didn't come into the family acting one way and then sneaking around, causing, a marriage to break up, and was best friends with the one of the family members. He wasn't doing that. He was already part of the other side of the family, which is the Richardsons, and he's been there to try to help Danny. So I think the daughters are perfectly well. Chelsea is happy that at least her mother is getting some, and he's trying to at least make sure her mother's not going crazy. I think she's more relieved about that, to be honest.
Right.
Whereas Haley, she feels absolutely no remorse for what she did. None. She just chops it up to like, oh, we were in love and I wish I could have my friend back. Like, why don't people understand? Why can't people just get over it and accept me and this new baby? Because you're raggedy.
Right.
Everything about you is raggedy. You were sleeping with your best friend's father, the same man you called daddy too.
Exactly.
You call him daddy in a different way now.
And you're pregnant, supposedly.
And you're pregnant, supposedly. Supposedly. Because I don't believe that.
Girl. But she thinking that everybody is just supposed to say, oh, we should just get over it and be friends again. No.
No, it don't work that way. But back to the Cole thing about Andre, like, she went really overboard. It had nothing to do with her. If they were sleeping together, guess what? You may not like it. It's not going to stop them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So get over that. She's just in her feelings. She doesn't like the fact that people are keeping secrets around her. But when she finds out that her parents, her husband, knew what was going on with her son, and this is a whole big old secret that she didn't know about,
Mm-hmm.
she gonna lose her mind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be, she going to be done.
Yeah.
But then is she going to be mad at her father and her mother too?
Look, they went out of their way to try to protect her son.
Mm-hmm.
And also try to keep her from, if anything were to go down, like, keep her out of the situation too, so she can be able to protect her son if need be. But at least they told one of the other parents what happened. At least that's what I'm assuming. Otherwise, I don't understand why Ted would even be there.
Mm-hmm.
But if this was new information, Ted and Nicole would be there.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they invited Ted over Nicole, that says a lot. He knew what was going on.
Yep.
But yeah, she's going to lose her mind. But I'm like, you're the therapist, though. She needs a therapist. The therapist needs a therapist. Call Taylor. Give her something to do. Give her a storyline.
That's funny. We also had Bill getting a $10 million life insurance policy because, you know, Haley started out talking about how she ain't got nobody. If something happened to Bill, she ain't got no family, which I think June might be her mama.
I think so, too.
She looked like her. Some people were saying whether or not the girl was playing two roles.
They look alike, they sound alike, everything. But no, there's two different actresses. Her pictures are online. She's a very beautiful woman. Mm-hmm. And Jasmine Williams, that was my thoughts too. Bill takes out a life insurance policy and doesn't include Naomi and Chelsea. So you're just going to forget about your other kids?
Unless he already had one out there for them. Through the, you know what I mean?
I thought he said he's updating and changing that to where Naomi is the sole beneficiary and make sure it's for $10 million. So you're going to forget about your two grown children.
Right.
Who could eventually have their own children too. So you are solely putting this on Haley, who you haven't even known for how long? Like, you were creeping with this girl. Right. And she has a whole invisible baby because we haven't seen no ultrasound, no pregnancy test. He's just going based off of this girl's word.
Right. Girl.
And you're going to give her $10 million. Like, I can see, like, later, like, be with her for at least 5 years, 10 years. At least see this girl stay with you before you go and pull out a whole life insurance policy. They're setting something up, and I feel like Haley is just playing her role until she strikes while the iron's hot.
You think she's just trying to do a scam or something?
Yeah, I really do. Yeah. I can't take anything this girl says seriously. You go and sleep with your best friend's father, and then you feel entitled to all the riches and, you know, access to everything and everyone's forgiveness. I'm like, that's some evil, like, mentality right there.
I agree, girl.
And I'm like, is she even worth $10 million? Is she worth 10 quarters? But, like, I don't understand, like, why he would leave out his two children that he knows are actually his.
Right.
Like, allow the baby, if Haley is pregnant, which is going to be alleged, if she is pregnant, at least let the baby at least get here, do a DNA test, make sure that baby, for one, is yours, because how you got her is one thing, but you see that she has no problem creeping.
Right.
She creeped with you. How do you not know she's sleeping with
somebody else? Right. Get a DNA test.
Exactly.
But wait a minute. Somebody online said that Bill knew he had a vasectomy.
Ooh.
I saw that online. I'm like, and I'm wondering if that's why Danny is acting a fool, because Danny would know whether or not Bill had a vasectomy or not, too.
Ooh. Oh, BTG writers, please make this a story. Please. If this is true, that would tell the whole thing right there about Haley. I would love every bit of that. Every bit of that. And that makes you question, who was she sleeping with?
Right. I hope that is true, that Bill has a vasectomy. Now, why are you going through all of this for then? You know, because, I mean, you're a rich guy. Why would you get a $10 million policy and all that type, unless you running a test or trying to play Victor Newman and play chess? But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, until I see the invisible baby, look, I don't believe this woman is pregnant. I'm really hoping this vasectomy storyline does come true.
Mm-hmm. I
because I can imagine him trying to keep that to himself and not want to give Danny the satisfaction to let her know that she was actually right about Haley.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's trying so hard to have his daughters accept her, and that's just not going to happen. But I don't trust Haley. I don't trust her motives. I don't trust anything in regards to this woman. I feel she's playing her role. Same way I feel Tomas is playing his role.
Girl, Tomas and Kat. Kat, I mean, they were getting hot and heavy, and Kat is like, no. I'm slow your roll. I ain't ready for that. I didn't see how my family and friends and their relationships imploded. And he was like, no, that's fine. Girl, when he hugged her and looked in that camera,
Yep.
dude was looking like, oh no, I don't know if I could deal with this.
Yeah, he was probably looking real cute to him right now.
I know, right?
Because he's like probably thinking like, I can go right up to that hotel room. He would be right there waiting, everything. This man, I don't take this man seriously. I feel like he's using Kat for some clout.
Well, remember, Bill told him to stay close to Kat to get information, remember?
And just like a gopher, he's doing it. He's trying to chase status and trying to chase success. He's doing exactly what Bill did. Because Bill said he was using Danny.
Oh, yeah,
and then right. when he got to his success, he was able to cheat on her. He knew that she was going to stick around, and then when he decided to move on with a Double D Mosquito, he had everybody pretty much in his back pocket. Her family, the people on the outskirts, everything. He had the type of power that he's always wanted, and he was status climbing. Mm-hmm. And he's still trying to do that now. That's why he wants to be in the loop on what's going on with the Duprees, so he can try to find something else to have in his back pocket. And Tomas is learning from the best. Yep,
sure is. Are you glad that Derek and Ashley are over?
Oh my God! Can we get a celebratory clap?
Hold on, let me see if I can get some sound effects. Let me see. I know right here. Let me see if I can find my applause.
Oh, I'm so proud of Derek. He cut right through the BS.
Yep.
That is Ashley. Cut right through it.
Cause he was like, listen, you want to get married? She keeps saying, not right now. He's like, why? And he knows why. He knows that Andre is the issue.
The issue is Ashley. She don't know. She was picking a fight over nothing. And she came to the bar prepared for a breakup.
And he had a proposal.
Yeah, and you would think that being with this man for 2 years, he has no kids, he's zeroed in and focused on her, he wants to build a life with her, they're both in their mid-30s, you would think, especially since she keeps saying that she loves him, that she would jump at this, but no. She said, like, oh, you're just testing me, or I don't think you really love me, or some mess. Mm-hmm. This man assumed majority of the blame, and none of this stuff was even his fault. All those little petty arguments and them not, having much time together, he just assumed the blame. Wow. And she's like, oh, okay. And none of it was his fault. You've been with this man for 2 years. What else do you need to see?
Right.
While your clock is ticking.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, yay. Move Derek on to somebody else, because Ashley, she got on my entire nerves, and all this fake crying. What you crying for?
Right.
You got the result that you wanted. You didn't want to live with this man, and you pretty much didn't want anything to do with this man. You came into a bar dressed for a breakup.
Right.
That's so immature. Like, you don't even want to try to work on your relationship. She didn't want to try to call this man. She didn't, nothing.
Nope.
Like, he could have said something like nice and romantic for her. She's thinking like, oh, he wants to break up. Let me at least look cute. What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bye-bye, Ashley.
Yeah,
And I'm wondering if Derek is going to actually give in, because I mean he's trying to go public with Danny.
You mean Andre?
What did I say?
You said Derek.
Oh yeah, sorry. Andre, he's trying to go public with Danny. And remember, Danny was like, "Listen, I don't mind, but don't break my heart." Now, what if he does end up with Ashley?
We wouldn't care.
Oh,
that's
God.
the other parent. That's the other pairing I don't care for. I'm sorry.
You don't like Andre and Danny?
I mean, well, not sorry, Andre and Ashley.
Oh, okay.
But Andre and Danny, if she was completely over Bill, I would be for it. I feel like they're just giving each other something to do, literally and figuratively. But I as long as it's not Andre and Ashley, I'm sorry. I don't know how you guys feel in the chat about Ashley and Andre. I'm personally I'm not with it, not for it. I'm really not for her and Derek. I'm so glad that they broke up. The way that Ashley has been acting, let this girl just be alone. Let her be alone.
Yeah, I mean they was just like, I don't know who's worse, Billy and Sally, or Derek and Ashley.
Derek and Ashley, without question.
Man, that was a quick answer, Bree.
Look, I once again, no shade whatsoever to the actors. It's just the way the characters are written. I feel so heartbroken for Derek because he really loved this girl. And he's, stepping up and he's trying to fully commit to her. And she is just crazy as all hell. And I'm glad that he sees that now before into a marriage, because clearly she's immature to handle a marriage.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it's like, it's worse than paint drying.
Yeah, I agree. They are, and they move so awkward around each other. It's just like, okay, just leave it be, and let Derek find somebody else.
Yeah, like Naomi.
I guess.
I was with Keish the other day when she said that she wouldn't mind seeing Derek and Naomi. Like, I feel like he has some decent chemistry with her. I don't know. I would like to see both Ashley and Derek mingle with other characters on the show, so we can see if they can test them.
Well, I guess we'll find out, depending on if they actually stay away from each other and Derek sticks to his decision. So.
And then that girl had a dream, fantasizing about
Andre.
I'm like, girl. So you want the playboy? You don't want like the regular stable guy with a decent career. I mean, a firefighter. He's gonna really fight and make sure he protects you. He is not playing in any games, especially after 2 years. He committed to you. Doesn't have any children. Like, this is a tall order that most women would dream of, and she's saying no. And I'm like, you're in your mid-30s, girl.
Yep. So, what else do we have? Did we cover everything?
Did we talk about Chelsea and Madison?
Well, we just talked about about the aftermath and Danny inviting them over, and Vernon was excited and he accepted, the two, her and the new relationship. People were telling her it was kind of fast, though, that she fell in love. So,
I mean, Chelsea's very ditzy. She's not, like I said, not the brightest of all the characters. And once again, love the actress. It's just the character, the way she's written. This girl didn't want anything to do with you. She left you at the bar, and you saw her again, and she pretended like she didn't see you.
Right.
And then you see her like taking care of your daddy. Then you want to just like zero in on this girl, and all of a sudden you guys sleep together and you're in love, and that's your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, she falls in love
Easily.
fast. I'm like, she reminds me of Carter almost. I mean, at least he takes a breather, at least of like a couple of days. Like, she blinks and she's in love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, girl, this is just pitiful.
You don't even really know this woman. She told you a story, but that's going to take some time to figure out everything. Well, you know, what she's saying is true or not. You know what I mean? So I guess it's soapy drama. I don't know if this is going to be as smooth sailing as she expected. And then we got this other thing with Chelsea and Kat being sued for copyright infringement.
And then she went to her daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, because didn't he make a point, like, you could have went to Naomi?
No, that was Haley that said that. And so Chelsea was like, yeah, but I go to her if I'm trying to stay above board, in so many words. But if I'm trying to get dirty and do underhanded tactics, I go to Bill.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And he was all smiles about that.
Yep.
So.
I'm like, oh, okay. Well.
All right.
And that's
probably about all of it. But good stuff, I gotta say. My eyes was glued.
Mm-hmm. But Vanessa, she sold the show for me this week.
Yeah, she did. That girl is fun. I mean, she was like, you want a company? Oh, I get you a company. I get you some connections, but you're gonna have to cut the check.
You see how she changed her outfits? She was like in these like prim and proper, you know, had her hair curled and everything. Now everything is like sleek, very like soprano, you know, mafia wife. I will say
though, I will say, Bree, that Joey and Vanessa do have chemistry.
Yes, they do. I want them as a couple. I look forward to both of them be on screen, whether together or separately. I love the Joey character. Like, they're knocking it out of the park. I love those two.
But the thing is, it's not just, okay, you know, they look nice together. They got hot chemistry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That scene last a week or two ago on that crap table, and the way he didn't even move his face, didn't blink an eye when he was trying to tell them folks to get up out of there because he needed to use the room. Do you remember that?
That was so just, ooh.
I'm like, Lord. And she looking at him, and I'm like, oh yeah, y'all for the tell. I don't know who would have been, but wait a minute. Remember, she walked up out of there, couldn't hardly walk.
She said she couldn't walk the next day. The whole banter, I was just like,
listen,
we never heard.
Thomas and Hope didn't even bring up nothing like that.
And Brooke, the amount of men that she's been with, she's never uttered a word like wasn't able to walk the next day.
Right.
Whatever Joey did to this woman, she done got a whole new outfit, dress, everything is just completely transformed.
Well, I guess she had an awakening. Joey didn't gave her an awakening.
Oh, this is more than an awakening. I mean, she's been wide open. I mean, she was sleeping and cheating on her husband for years. She had escort service on her speed dial.
Yeah, but it ain't Joey though.
It ain't Joey. She opened like the sidewalk from side to side for this man. just open.
And girl, she was ready to come back for some more. And poor Doug is knowing what's going on.
Yeah, just put him with Shanice. He has better chemistry with Shanice anyway. I'm like, just go ahead and just divorce this woman. They just need to go ahead and just file the papers. See, I support that divorce because she hasn't been in her marriage
Yeah,
for
she,
however
yeah,
long.
and she pretty much told Nicole today, don't judge me on what I'm doing.
Um, and
I'm like,
yeah, I agree with that.
well,
That
then
ain't got
she
nothing to do
shouldn't
with
be
Nicole.
jumping up in Ted's face either.
That is true. I agree with that too.
You don't want nobody to say
So,
nothing to you, but then you can jump up in somebody else's face, girl. Mm-mm.
and she's done far worse than Ted.
Right.
She's been all open about all her affairs. I mean, she said she's been with a
Girl,
plethora of men.
Monique Abrams said Joey gave Vanessa the American Eagle.
Ooh wee. Oh Lord.
Oh my
And
God.
this woman can't even walk. Like he definitely outperforming Thomas and Ridge and all these other characters.
Right. Exactly.
Ooh-wee.
Exactly. All right. I think that's all of it for Beyond the Gate. So, as we now move into our other fun segments, we got the Flip the Script segment. And again, what that is that if there's a particular story or a plot line, a storyline, or a scene that we wish we could change, this is where we flip the script. So, what's your flip on Y and R?
Um, I mean, I would say the obvious thing, but I would have loved for Mariah to just confess what
She did.
she did.
Okay.
I mean, your wife is already calling out what you did. You might as well just woman up and say, "Yeah, I cheated with Tales from the Crypt."
Mm-mm. I just wish that if I had to flip the script on anything with Y and R, I mean, if you're gonna bring back Kane, why go this route?
Yeah.
All this melodramatics from the last 6 months, and it's Kane with an alias and some money. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I wish they would have just did something totally different.
Yeah.
What's your bold flip?
Um, well, I'll say something different. I wish Steffi didn't give Carter and Hope the heads up.
Just did what
I
she
wish,
wanted to do.
and to say, we need you here at Force Your Creations. Carter and Hope, they're just going to have to accept that. But she didn't owe either one of them a heads up when it came to
Nope.
Daphne.
And then gonna try to tell Carla, can you please talk her? You the only one that can do it. It's like this. You own Forrester. Remember, you got the company back. Now you need their approval to hire somebody.
Did we talk about the fact that he wanted to bring Hope for the Future back?
Girl, I don't want to talk about Hope for the Future.
He was
Tacky
pushing
for the
buttons.
future.
Tacky for the future, raggedy for the future. The Salvation Army didn't want her clothes, and you want to bring it back. Stop it, sir.
Yeah, girl, please. I ain't even bring that up because I'm like, why? Obviously, it's like she don't even represent the line like that anymore.
And she didn't look the least bit concerned.
No, but here's the other part. We still don't know what she do. She was sitting at a table with some papers and ink pens and stuff. It's like, what does she do at Forrester now?
Donna's old job as a secretary.
I guess. You at the table with the CEO and the COO. Okay, so what's your title? What you doing?
Getting coffee and biscuits and whatever else they need.
Mm-hmm. Girl, that's so crazy. But did you do your flip for bowl?
Yeah, I would have had Steffi not give Hope and Carter the heads up.
Oh, okay,
about
yeah.
Daphne.
Okay, that's how we got on this subject. I wouldn't have given. I wish Ridge would have just not told Brooke to stay away from Nick because it's just too obvious. All she's doing is eating that up. She's not taking that as this so-called protection. She looking at that as like, you don't want nobody around me. You see blocking.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I'm like, and I don't blame Steffi for calling out her father. Like, why do you care? And with you doing what you doing, what do you think my mom would say about that?
Yep. I agree.
Yep. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then what's your flip for BTG?
Um, I would have loved for Ted to call Nicole's bluff, and
Oh.
that I would have loved for him to call her bluff,
Mm-hmm.
because if she really is done and over with, she would go along with it. I think
Mm-hmm.
she's just dangling this whole divorcing or separation like a carrot. Call her bluff
Wow.
and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Just to get an idea of what's gonna happen next. All right, who's taking seats on Y&R?
Seats. Um, Mariah for one, and Chelsea for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it to them.
I'm gonna give it to Dumas when everybody already knew you in the first place. You could have just showed up in General City with some money and said, hey, I'm me, it's Kane, I'm back, and guess what? I come back as a billionaire. Why we had to go through all this?
Yep.
So yeah, Kane,
Okay.
aka Aristotle Dumas, you need to take a seat on that train car down the mountain.
Yep. You look good though. Very handsome man,
Who,
but still.
who's taking seat on Bold?
Pinecone Poppy.
Girl, absolutely. And I'm gonna give
Yes.
Hope and Carter a seat, cause it's like y'all just got y'all foot in the door, and you trying to tell them, oh, they want to bring back the fragrance line. Why do we need to do that? Cause we don't want to hurt Hope's feelings.
Yeah, they can
Mm-hmm.
sit down with that. All of
Yeah.
that. Like, you should have been hired, you should have been sued, you should have went to jail, a lot of different things. But, count your blessings.
Right. I agree. Taking seats on BTG.
Ashley.
Yeah, I agree.
A-
Hmm.
Ashley and Nicole, actually.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Night,
Um.
Jasmine.
Oh, good night, Jazz. Um. I would say I'm gonna give Nicole a seat because that man is trying.
Yeah.
He screwed up, but he is trying. Bill don't even care, but
Nope.
Ted is trying. You know.
He's showing some remorse, and he's trying to fight for his
Right, and
marriage.
she come up in there trying to alter trusts and stuff. It's like, girl, let the dust settle. I mean, something playing on happening between now that you gotta change the trust. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Come on now. That's why I say call her bluff
Right.
when it comes to everything, because it's like she's starting the separation process. She's trying to dangle this whole thing. Call her bluff.
Mm. Oh man. All right. Star of the week. Y&R.
I forgot about Holden. He can take a seat too. Star of the week.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give that to Billy, because he's at Billy Flynn. He's, from the scenes I saw of like the clips from him on Days, he's a talented actor. I do miss the original Kane, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely willing to give Billy Flynn a chance. He's very easy on the eyes, like Audrey said on Monday's episode, and he's actually decent actor. I give him the credit.
Okay. Cool beans. Star of the week. Y&R. I'm gonna give it to. I don't know. I'm gonna give it to Kate because that emotion was intense. That girl was willing, and I mean, granted, I'm not saying that she should have took her back after cheating, but she was like, "Look, we can figure this out. We done been through so much. I'm not a saint. You're not a saint. The emotion was definitely there. Kate did a good job with that.
Kate Fairbanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good
Yep.
job.
Star of the week, bold.
I was gonna say Jack Wagner, but I'll give it to Lisa Yamada because this level of derangement. I mean, she picked up the torch from where her grandmother left it, and I love it.
Yeah, I agree with that. That girl can cook, and that's probably why she might be getting other opportunities and stuff. And hey, kudos for more projects. So
I mean, look at the way she's acting in that photo right there, the bottom left.
I know it's just dead eye.
Like not even saying a word. She's doing more acting than most.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. Star BTG.
I got to start remembering his name, but the gentleman who plays Martin, I know it's Brandon, and I don't want to screw up his last name, but he did a phenomenal job this week.
I'm gonna give mine to Vanessa. I forgot her name.
The actress who plays Vanessa, yes.
That girl cooked. I mean, she came in hot. I mean, had Joey shook.
Mm-hmm. She just, without question, I absolutely one of my favorite characters on this show, and the actress, like, she's really made her own. Love it.
Mm-hmm. All right, pickle of the week, Y&R. That whole storyline.
Yes. Sour.
Oh man, it was so slow. Oh my God, I was like,
maze.
we wasted 3 hours of screen time. And it wasn't even 3 hours because you got to throw in the commercials. But oh my goodness, I'm like, we still haven't. What this man want? I'm gonna watch Monday's episode, but I'm like, oh, this was dragging.
Yeah, like you'll understand his motives on Monday's episode, but also pay attention to Audra and all the crap that Lily said and her reasons as to her issues with Kane. And try not to roll your eyes too much.
Okay. You just found out that your baby daddy is a billionaire.
Girl, watch Monday's episode.
All right, girl. Who is the pickle on? Did I do both? Did I do not? Yeah, did I do both?
No, we didn't do both yet.
Okay, pickle and bold. Ridge, like, dude, you squirrely because your brother coming to town and to give your ex some attention.
Yeah.
Mr. Waffle King.
And you were just with Taylor saying that you're in love with her and that you're happy to be in a relationship with her. I had two. I had Carter and I had Finn. Carter for even bringing up HFTF, and then you got Finn for not doing his job as a husband and trying to protect his family. He had a whole baseball bat underneath the bed.
Right.
And it's supposed to do something.
Girl, that's crazy. Now, do we have any simp Olympiads this week?
I was going to put Ashley in a seat for BTG.
Okay.
Pickle for.
Oh yeah,
BTG.
we gotta do BTG pickle.
Yeah, Ashley, she takes all of that.
She takes all. I agree. I totally agree with that. I'm gonna say Chelsea.
Yeah, I agree.
BTG Chelsea, not Y&R Chelsea.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Because I mean, this girl fell hard in less than a week.
Mhm. Just ditzy and just dodo in the head. Like, girl, Lord have mercy. I see why you model. I can't see any other profession. I'm sorry, I can't.
Who else you think should get a simple Olympiad award? I'm trying to think.
A simp. Uh, I guess for. mm, I guess we'll try to do bronze. I'll give that to Nick because he just popped up and caping for Brooke all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And, she's pining after a whole other man, but you're saying he said all that mess. I was like, okay, that calm it down. So I'll give him bronze. Silver. I'll give that to Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I guess I'll give
Gold.
to. Oh, that's a hard one. I'm really trying to think. I would say Liam, just the way that he was just like
Freaking out.
hyperventilating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, this is not even your family. Like, you put your whole cape on, and this has nothing to do with you. Go be with your girls.
Right.
And I guess platinum.
We'll go to Chelsea.
Actually, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ma'am, you just met her a week ago, and you are in love with her. That's your girlfriend. All of a sudden, you guys slept together once, and this is what? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So, perfect.
See, Jenna said she agrees Monday is a revelation.
Okay,
Yep.
well, I definitely gotta watch this. All right. I think that is all. We had another great show on this Friday evening. And make sure you stay tuned for the spoilers. The Y&R spoilers are already up for the week of the 23rd through the 27th, which is on the Y&R Unfiltered channel. And thank you for supporting those channels. And the BTG and the Bold spoilers will be up probably tomorrow. So make sure you guys stay to that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you're subscribed. Also, or to all three of the channels. So Soap Corner Talk, Y&R Unfiltered, and The Shade and the Beautiful. And then what else I was going to say? Oh, and follow us on all of the other platforms, the Facebook groups, the TikTok and X and Instagram and Threads and all of these other places where you can find the content. So, did you have anything else, girl?
I'm all set. I had so much fun with you guys. I was looking forward to this week. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and yeah, be sure to check out Monday's episode of Y&R. It will explain a lot.
Will do, ma'am.
And it would also show that Audra is not worth a damn.
Dang. Good grief. Well, I definitely gonna watch it for real.
Yeah, more than what she already is.
Yep. All right, you guys. Until next time, we will see you all later. Bye, Soapies.
Bye, guys. Bye, Soapies.